Just a little bit of order. Yep. Welcome to the ordinary meeting of Greater Hume Council on the 19th of November 2025. In accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice, this council meeting is being recorded and will be placed on Council's webpage for public information. All present today are reminded that by speaking, you are agreeing to your view and comments being recorded and published. You are also reminded that if or when speaking, you are to be respectful to others and use appropriate language. Greater Hume Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures during this council meeting. Councillor O'Neill, might ask you to read the prayer, please.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for all your blessings. We ask for your strength and guidance throughout this meeting and thereafter as we look to serve the residents of this shire. We ask for clear thinking and sincere hearts as we approach the business matters we will be discussing shortly. We ask for your blessings upon this meeting, each participant and the work and people they represent. Amen.
Councillor O'Neill. I would like to acknowledge that this meeting of the Greater Hume Shire Council is being held on traditional lands of the Wiradjuri people and pay my respects to elders both past, present and emerging. Do we have any apologies or applications for leave of absence or attendance by visual link? So we have Mayor Parker as an apology today, please.
I'll move. We accept the apology.
Yep.
Second.
Second. Over. Carried. And I would also like to put in an application for leave for myself for the December council meeting as I'll be away. So if someone would like to move or second that too. Brian, Ash, all in favour?
Yeah.
Right. Carried. Confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting, and I apologise they came through late today.
I'll move there, correct?
Second. Thanks, Councillor Quinn. Is there any discussion on those? I'll put the motion. Yep. All in favour? Action report from the minutes. I'd like to move.
Yeah, I've got one, Mr. Chair. It's code 6858. I'm just going to quote page 4. And I'm concerned about the pace in which the drought resilience declaration and that sort of stuff is working. And it says that a letter was received and a report can be given back to the July meeting. Well, we're a long way off July and 80% is still a long way off 100%. And so I'm just wondering, what can we do to hurry this up, or will we have it in time for the next drought sort of thing?
I think the only thing you could do, so we're waiting for a response to our letter, I think is where we're at. So I'll follow that up with Mayor, just be coordinating and see whether I can update that one for the next meeting.
Yep. And then the same for just down on the next page, 6927, report on the Southern New South Wales Drought Summit. It's like, we got to move faster on these sort of things. That's only sitting at 25%. It's like if we want to look after the businesses within the Shire, the farming businesses, we got to move quick.
For you, Deputy Mayor, we currently, the Mayor is meeting with the Premier today discussing these very issues. She's recently met with the Agriculture Minister, Moriarty, along with other members that were part of the Drought Summit. So I'm sure that we'll be getting an update as soon as they're returned.
Well, I think that letter may have been, has gone, and I just need to update that particular matter. There might have been an oversight on that one.
Any other items in the report for discussion? Someone like to move the action report?
Yeah.
Councillor Linda, thank you. Seconded, Councillor Liston. All in favour? All in favour, carried. Do we have any disclosures of conflicts of interest for the meeting to declare tonight? No mayoral minutes tonight, no notice for the motion. So, ready. So we'll jump straight into the reports from officers for Part A.
Yeah, so look, I'd like to bring forward, if we could please, item 10.3.1, presentation of the 24-25 financial statements, just to facilitate the presentation, so that they're not waiting too long through the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Hicks.
I'll second that.
Councillor Morden, all in favour? Carried. So that report is on page 101. And we might hand over to our auditors. Thank you, Miru and Matt.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, councillors and council executive. Thank you for the invitation to present my report on the conduct of the audit of Greater Hume Shire Council. I'm Niru, I'm Director Financial Audit from the Audit Office of New South Wales, Hume, Associate Director from the Audit Office of New South Wales as well. Tonight, I'll be taking you through the results of the 2025 financial statements audit as covered in my report on the conduct of the Audit Office work program for 25-28 and some focus areas in the upcoming local government sector report. I'll take the report as read and I'll just speak to some highlights. I've audited the general purpose financial statements of Greater Hume Shire Council for the year ended 30th June 2025 as required under Section 415 of the Local Government Act. I expressed an unmodified opinion on the Council's general purpose financial statements. The report on the conduct of the audit for the Council for the year ended 30th June is in accordance with Section 417 of the Local Government Act. Council revenue of 57.6 million decreased marginally this year, and the main drivers for those were the rates and annual charges revenue of 14.5 million, which increased due to a rate peg increase of 5.2%, and the user charges in phase of 8.9 million, which increased by 1.8 million, again due to increase in road maintenance council contract works. Grants and contributions of 30 million decreased by 4 million, and this has been predominantly due to a decrease in the financial assistance for operating purposes and special purpose grants and non-developer contributions that were recognized during the year. So after deducting the capital grants and contributions, the net operating result before capital grants and contributions was a loss, negative 5.2 million, as compared to a loss of 1.7 million in the comparative period. Council's operating result from continuing operations was 1.6 million lower than the 23-24 result, and the decrease was in relation to grants and contributions, which reduced by 5.9 million due to the decrease in natural disaster relief funding in 2025. And this was partially offset by an increase in depreciation expense due to shorter remaining useful lives for the roads. The unrestricted current ratio measures the council's ability to pay short-term obligations as they fall due, and this ratio decreased and it improved. The unrestricted current ratio improved in 24-25 due to a decrease in the current liabilities by 6.8 million. It was at 3.4 times. The average ratio for rural councils was at 5.6 times, so this was slightly lower than that. Council can fund about 8.5 months of general expenses from available cash, which is above the 8-month average for rural councils. Council also renewed 16.6 million of infrastructure, property, plant and equipment, and this was mainly spent on repairing assets damaged from the natural disaster, and a further 6.3 million was spent on new assets and 4.2 on stormwater drainage. I'd like to thank the finance team for their cooperation during the audit. That brings me to the end of the report on conduct of the audit. I'll probably briefly speak to the Audit Office work program for 25-28 and some focus areas in the local government report. I draw your attention to that the Audit Office performs not only financial audits, but performance audits on which we report to the Parliament. Performance audits assess whether activities of the government entities are carried out effectively, economically, and efficiently in compliance with the laws. Our office annual work program 25 to 2028 was released in August 2025, and the work explains how we decide on what to focus on and what we intend to cover in the 25 to 28 period for all the sectors that we audit. This 3-year plan gets annually updated by the Auditor General and can be revised along the way. Some of the key themes for 25-26 financial year are efficiency and optimal use of public resources, grants administration, major capital projects, climate-related risks and opportunities, and First Nations communities. The areas of focus in our 24-25 local government sector report to Parliament include financial audit outcomes, financial sustainability, IT, cyber, and AI, major projects, and internal controls and governance, which usually includes fraud control, key findings from our matters reported in our management letter. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, councillors, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from other councillors? Okay, so if that's the case, we might move to the recommendation on page 102.
I'll second that.
Councillor Quinn, thank you. Councillor Hicks, all in favour? All in favour, carried. Thank you both for your time and your presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll just flick back to item number 10.1.1, which is on page 8 of this agenda, which is the response to state significant development application to Ginger battery storage energy storage system.
I'll move the recommendation.
Councillor Hicks. Thank you, Councillor Linda. Any discussion?
Comment on the recommendation. I think it's a fatal slip for us not to tell them to seal all the road. All the time we've had green energy developments across the Shire, we've missed the opportunity of getting a proper development contribution for roads. In this case, you've got the Glenelg solar farm down the bottom. There's no reason why, because there's going to be another battery thingo, whatever you call them, just opposite this one from what I hear, because the state gives them the tickets, the state's policy, green energy. So I think we should seal all the rest of all the road right through to Glenelg Road. I don't know whether the mover's happy to get that as a bit of an extra addendum to the motion or not.
For you, Deputy Mayor, it's not that long a road, is it, Councillor Quinn? Portlip, how long?
Oh, it might be a kilometre, a bit extra.
Yeah.
Give you a bit more than that.
About 3 if you're going to go, because it's actually
Right up. So
it's actually ordered from Linda around to the access to the.
yeah, that's all been done.
Yep. So you've probably got 3 Ks, I reckon.
Oh, look, you can ask for it. I don't know whether they'll come at it, but there's nothing
Well,
going.
look, I'm happy to add that in as a 0.3.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah,
Very
Worth a try.
Worth a try.
0.3 or 0.4 in the report.
Well, where it needs to go in, I'm happy with. Obviously, there's only 2 points in that, but
Yeah.
Sorry, through you,
Councillor Wyman. Yeah.
Deputy Mayor. Yeah, I agree. The wording needs to be a bit stronger about our conditions. It sounds a bit gentle, I think. And how much is the total BPA? It's no good saying it's so much per whatever. Just to come down to the bottom.
I'll be calculating.
I think from my December report, it was somewhere around the 2.3 million mark
Over the life.
Over the life.
over the life, over the 30 years.
Which is
It's got back to about 3 and something. Yeah. I think you need to move an amendment.
Yeah. So we,
Motion if you're going to do include.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, that's fine.
I also have
So you want to go for it? I'm sorry.
Go on.
No, I was going to say Councillor Quinn can move an amendment if he wishes. That's
Well,
all.
there's no reason why, through you, Mr. Acting Chairman, that the move of singular motion couldn't include call it an addendum, if you like, into the, which is the third part of the motion. But otherwise, I'm happy to move an amendment if you like, but I think it's handy, but I think, yeah. I know Councillor Hickson knows the road, but I know it very well, and
Take it as an amendment.
Yep.
Because that's our normal practice.
Yeah, I think if you're through, Councillor Quinn, if you're happy to move the amendment, then yep. So we'll add that in as an amendment.
that be part 3 of the motion.
So we have a second. We have a second.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, it's 1.8 kilometre thing. We're asking them to do 1 kilometre. They'll be doing, it'll be 2.8.
Yes. Thank you. Can we have a second for the, can you have the wording for the amendment, please, Councillor Quinn?
Wording for the amendment.
The amendment is that they seal the full length of what's left of Ortlip Road from the Glen Ellen Solar Farm to the junction on Glen Ellen Road.
It would be forward from the entranceway to the Ellen. Well, it's not from the entranceway because the seal starts where the previous seal ended. That's what I'm saying.
The remaining,
So that's the entranceway of the Glen Ellen Solar Farm. Yeah, sorry. From the Glen Ellen Solar Farm to
remaining unsealed part.
you just need to take the word road out of there. So it should read that they seal the full length of from the Glen Ellen Solar Farm, not the road entrance. Yeah, from the entrance in front of Glen Ellen. Yeah, from the entrance of the Glen Ellen Solar Farm to the intersection of Ortlip Road and Glen Ellen Road.
Instead of saying they seal, can we put the road, blah, 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 be sealed?
Yes.
That's a bit more professional.
Will they be required to, a little bit more stronger?
Yeah.
Basically, what we're asking him to seal the full length of Glen Ellen Road from the full length of Ortlip Road from the Glen Ellen Solar Farm.
Really, all we're doing though is just adding that to our letter back to them. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And they'll put that to the they'll put that back to the proponent, and the proponent will say whether they're prepared to do it or not prepared to do it, and then I don't know how far the department will push it.
Yep. So
we don't put it to them, they'll never know.
So Councillor Quinn, you moved the amendment. We need a seconder for the amendment, please. So Councillor Linda, we're going to vote on the amendment first, and we're going to go back to the motion. So all in favour of the amendment? All in favour, carried. Councillor Morton, I think you had something.
Yeah, I just further to this discussion. Renewal and these renewable energy projects are getting bigger and bigger. This proposal is 250 to 500 megawatt hours, which now makes them to be considered large scale. They're typically managed, as everybody knows, under state planning infrastructure. However, once you move past the 250 megawatt hour, then that land becomes eligible to be classified as commercial rather than agricultural. If we're to consider going forward projects of such type, and I would like to be able to put an amendment to this motion that be considered. I've got more information if anybody would like to see some, but it's a commercial use category. It can be recategorised for rating purposes from agricultural to commercial, which also influences the rate. It's not like your normal rated land which is unimproved. It becomes improved commercial land, and the valuer general is asked to come in, revalue the land on a commercial basis, and the council rates be made accordingly. Given that the amount of money going forward, $2 million might sound a lot, but it's over 20 years. I would like to see our communities benefit in more from these. And I think once they're getting to these sizes, I think we really need to start looking at commercial rating. I also have an amendment.
Do you want to talk to that?
Can I speak to that, Colin?
Oh, I think the rating around solar farms is still a little bit of a work in process. I had an inquiry the other day from another council inquiring whether we're currently rating solar farms as a business, and I'm told that we're not at this stage, and so it's something I have to take on notice, do a little bit of investigation, come back to you about that ability to rate them, not as farmland, but as some sort of business category.
Yeah, commercial land.
So you're moving that amendment?
Well, I have a part for the amendment, and that is that we request that the address of the project lot 204 DP 753342, also known as 204 Ortlip Road, Glenellan, being over 250 megawatt hour project, to be rated as a commercial and valued by the New South Wales Valuer General to reflect the council rating as such. I can give that to you.
Do you have a seconder for that amendment? Councillor.
I would second it, but I'm thinking that after investigation, we perhaps do.
So does that mean it's done and dusted if we vote on it today?
Well, they're not going to. Rating's not a matter for the Department of Planning anyway. There could be something that I could provide a report on and bring that back. And it's really a bit. If it gets down to land rating, we could deal with that separately, because the Department of Planning won't make a decision to adjudicate on the.
No. However, those people that are hosting these projects can make part of their contract with the energy company to have reimbursement for rates if they are commercial. So it's really not going to be on the landholder per se, but then it may come down to the contract going forward with the energy company. So I think it's something we really need to consider.
Well, I think it's something that we can bring a report back. Maybe you could request that, and I'll bring a separate report back separate to this.
Not that in a matter of urgency.
In a matter of urgency. That's a good suggestion.
Well, essentially, then it can be dealt with, and then it's not cluttering up that.
You don't have to tie it just to this one. You could ask.
It's going forward. Yeah, I think it's time.
You're well worth investigating it.
For clarity, Councillor Morton, you will withdraw that amendment?
I'll withdraw the amendment. Thank you.
Okay. So is there any further discussion on this one?
If I could, through you, Deputy Mayor, just a quick query on the water supply for that. Council's confirmed that they could supply water. Just like any idea on what I would imagine they would use a lot of water with those BESS systems. Any idea?
Yeah, happy to answer to you, Deputy Mayor. No, it will be minimal. Yeah, they money for fire storage in that regard. They might use it during construction, definitely during construction, but there isn't. I don't have this huge volumes of water.
Oh, I don't think you can put water on a lithium-ion battery. Well, you can, but you need massive quantities. So I think the water would be more for bushfire protection and that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think a lot of these things are containerised, and they've got other fire suppressant systems built into the container. So if they had the fire in the battery, that often kicks in, and it could be like a halogen or something like that. That'll drop out. Yeah. That's the plan.
I suppose I was just worried that, if we're under pressure with Chindra expanding, and they were taking a lot of water, it might have an impact, but not so. Thank you.
No further discussion. So the amended motion's up on the screen.
Yeah.
We've already got a mover and a seconder for that. So we'll put the motion. All in favour? All in favour, carried. Going to go a little bit extra slower tonight because we've got this new minute taking software here, which, as you can see on screen, is a little bit different to what we usually do.
progress.
We're starting to find out.
So next, I'll just let you know, the next one's on page 19, and that it'll be 10.1.2, outcomes of exhibition of finalisation of draft chapter, Mulligan Road and Funk Road, Ginger Lodge Lot Residential Precinct, DCP. Yes, I believe that was to move the original motion.
No, it was me and Councillor Quinn, I think, moved
Okay.
the original motion. Then Councillor Quinn had the amendment.
Yeah.
The next recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor. It's on the recommendations on page 25. Thank you, Councillor.
Comment about all the submissions. I think most of the responses are genetic, I think. I think there's more in some of the responses that we should take on board. They might counsel for 5 or 10 years till the development happens, but I think some of the people have got valid points, and I just hope that our planning department takes note of them, and the engineering department.
We have a seconder for, so
Yeah.
thanks, Councillor Linda. So the mover was Councillor Quinn, yep. Any other discussion on this?
Just make a comment. With the submissions, I found them quite interesting, and there is one thing I think we really seriously need to look into is cat restrictions. This is where we're at the stage where it's quite a problem, and I've got some stats that we might need to circulate at some time in newsletters, but I think this is quite pertinent now. We've got a lot of developments happening. I really think we need to look at serious issue about cat control and restraints and curfews and whatever, and I think it's just not pie in the sky anymore. It's quite real what the damage they do. So if you can take that on.
I agree. I get a lot of commentary through the community.
A lot of policies surrounding councils, and the state and federal have also commented now. So
Yeah, they've actually
got
invoked
a policy
in Melbourne just recently.
That's something we could discuss in one of our workshops in the new year.
Well, I would think that if you're going to put a policy in place, well, any policy you put in place, you've got to be able to enforce it. So, that's the question. It's otherwise it's just words. But one method, and I think a lot of councils' policies or restrictions tend to be more on a development by development basis. Like I'm aware of some in adjacent councils that when they've developed an area adjacent to bushland, they put them in. If we were going to do something here, this DCP is probably the mechanism to put some words in about cats. And but I don't know where that leaves us with tonight. Like if we wanted to put something in, we need to leave
it was raised. So
I mean, leave it on the table, and then we have a look at it and come back. Just for full disclosure, I know that the developer is very keen to get going on this particular development.
I don't mean to hold this up, but I thought that was something that was jumped out at me, that we do need to do something.
I'm just thinking about the correct spot to put it, and I would say the DCP, because this is a site-specific chapter in the overall DCP, and because of it, it's got bushland and the like, it would be probably that you would put some provisions in there around cat management in this specific chapter of the DCP, which you can do. You'd have to leave it on the table.
So go out for another 28 days.
Mate, yes.
And
then, and like I said, just in the interest of full disclosure, I do know this developer is very keen to get going, and he cannot get going under the provisions of the LEP until council's adopted a DCP. So,
just topical.
You could possibly adopt the DCP tonight, and then ask whether it could be subsequently amended, but then we'd have to re-exhibit it. It'd be messy.
Mr. Rock,
No,
For you, councillor Shield, because my thoughts are that this is broader than just this site-specific
Yes,
issue. I think it's a
that's what I'm
Shire-wide issue.
referring to
So,
Shire-wide.
so back to you, Mr. Kane. Could this not go in the overarching DCP for Ginger as an amendment down the track, rather than a site-specific one, and then it will capture what's happening in that precinct is happening across the whole of Ginger?
It could, for sure. I couldn't see any reason why it couldn't. I mean, I think what you would say though, so once it's in the generic DCP, some of the controls might be different depending on the settings. You know, like if this is a rural residential development, and so there's a lot more bushland in that here, and there is more ecological concerns where you might not feel the same in the middle of Colcan, for example, or you might. I don't know. But we could have that debate.
In the middle of Pinty as well.
We could have that. Yeah,
But
you
it's
have
another time.
it is for another time, but I just thought it's there and I wanted to sort of say, can we look into it for future?
We're definitely intending to rewrite the overall DCP anyway, and yes, we could do that.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Thank you, councillor Shield. Any other discussion? No, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Favour carried. One is 10.1.3 on page 46 of your agenda. That's for site-specific plans and management for areas of cultural significance on Crown land managed by council. Recommendation is on page 47.
I'll move that recommendation.
Thank you, councillor Hicks. Councillor Quinn? Yes.
I'll just clarify. I think I will need to bring back I'm happy for the recommend of council to pass this tonight. I'm happy for to proceed, but I think that a subsequent report will be required to the December meeting on the outcomes of my negotiations if they're successful, and just to get subsequent resolutions to enter into the contract, and whether it's going to be operation plan or so. I'll probably just bear that in mind, that I'll bring another report to the December meeting. But I'm happy to, if council's pass this, to proceed to enter into the negotiation, firm up on the price and come back in December.
We better have to leave this one laying on the table till that's sort of.
Look, you could do that, or alternatively, if you we could just amend the recommendation tonight. It's just a bit more clunky. I should have, in hindsight, I would have liked to put a few more dot points into this recommendation, and then it's up to you. We just leave it on the table to December, and I could come back with it. I mean, I have been speaking with the owner of the land anyway, as it said in the report. I don't know what the urgency is with the Rural Fire Service, how urgent they are for me to acquire the council to acquire the land so they can build this fire station up there.
I wouldn't muck around. It's quite urgent, really.
Well, then perhaps just pass this tonight and get something in place and get the contract prepared and everything else, and then bring it back to the December meeting with just the additional. Because you're delegating me to negotiate the purchase. You're not authorising me to complete the purchase. So I don't see really any harm in getting this on the table, and then I can go to him in good conscience and make an offer in writing, and then we can go from there. So I had one market appraisal on the price of the land, just a market appraisal.
47.
Yeah, no, but I thought we hadn't voted on the Alma Park cultural.
Oh, with this one.
Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about.
My apologies.
I'll jump one ahead. I'm sorry. Come back.
Alma Park and the old Weimar.
And one,
And 10.1.3.
What page is that?
47.
47, 48.
It's up to the 5.
Yeah, that's the one I read out.
Yeah, I got ahead of myself.
Oh, okay, sorry. So just to clarify, we are talking about 10.1.3 site-specific plans and management for areas of cultural significance on Crown lands managed by council. And we do have a mover and we have a seconder. So is there any discussion on this one? No? So let's put the motion. All in favour? Carried.
Now we're at the Caraboss. Thank you.
I won't expect you again to that.
I'll move,
97.
I'll
So now-
move the recommendation.
I haven't got there yet.
Which is, we're on page 96, which is item 10.2.1, which is the proposed land acquisition, lot 105. I'm not going to read out the DP number, but it's the Caraboss one.
Happy to move that one.
Mover, do I have a seconder? Councillor O'Neill. Is there any discussion on this one?
The RFS have given their green light to it. It's important we move very quickly with them because the streams change very quickly over the years. And if they've said yes, go with it.
How much are we looking at the matter of interest?
Oh, the number, I'm happy to say the number's 22,000 it's been negotiated on, but it hasn't been finalised. So it's not a huge number.
For you, Deputy Mayor, there is, I think there's an old shed on it.
It's like an old church. It's full timbered. I think it's an old church. That's one of the reasons why the site's very good, in my opinion, because the power's right there. It's very close, and the access is very good. So I think there's a lot of extra bonuses to this particular. There's a pole right there because it's very close to the old Telstra.
Exchange.
Oh, yeah.
Exchange box. There's definitely power's very close, and so that'll keep other costs down. I think it's a full timber building, very old. It'll have to be demolished, but I don't think there's any asbestos in it, and so it shouldn't cost too much to get rid of it.
Would that be through the cost of the removal through us? Or?
I have to work that through with could be funding that the Rural Fire Service has got.
Could be training.
Great training. I think we need to move ahead with it though, don't we?
Yeah. Through you, Deputy Mayor, I'd like to thank Mr. Kane for his work on this. The community is really in need of support up there. It's a growing community with succession planning, so forth. They have been a staging point for major bushfires in the past, and the thought that they'd be left without a social space or a fire station is it's time to be for that community, and I can pass on their appreciation as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Morton. Have any further discussion on this item, or can we put the motion? Put the motion. All in favour? All in favour, carried. Yeah, Councillor Morton moved, Councillor O'Neill second. Thank you. The next item, we jump ahead because we've done the auditing at the beginning. So we jump to item number 10.3.2, which is on page 226 of your agenda, which is the interim 2025-26 quarterly budget review at the 30th September 2025. Your recommendation for that one is on page 34.
I'll move that recommendation.
So Hicks. Seconder. Councillor Shield, thank you. Any discussion on this item?
So this is 10.3.2.
Correct.
Page
Okay.
234.
Can I just ask for clarification on the additional legal expenses? Please. That's on page 227. So legal costs have exceeded the original budget allocated elected members. Therefore, that's us as councillors.
Yeah.
Through you,
Yeah. Sorry. There you go.
Through you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Lindner, the additional legal expenses, we've had a range of different legal matters, but there has also been some legal matters that relate to code of conduct affairs. And so that was taken through a law firm that we didn't originally plan for.
Any other items for discussion?
on page 227, with the noxious weeds, I was we have to make requests for or grants or something, don't we have to apply for money for the noxious weeds department? Is there any way that we can help reduce some of the costs with getting, I know it's probably not going to work with the landholders more?
Look, it was harder to. What's happened is although there is a loss of income there, we reallocated work where we would have used contractors to undertake some spraying, and so there's no real net effect to the budget because of that, and so it wasn't a competitive grant, and then it has become a competitive grant. We didn't get the grant the first time, and so that's the issue. The new grant just closed yesterday, and it's 5.2 today actually, and so fingers crossed we get it for the next financial year.
It's quite ridiculous. We have to barter for our funding for noxious weeds. It's just ridiculous.
It was the first time. I'm not sure why DPI went that way with the competitive grant process for noxious weeds, but they did. And
going up against your neighbours, sort of thinking.
Yeah, well,
one count next door might get it and we don't, and then it doesn't matter where the spray doesn't know where the boundary is.
If we don't get it, they just reallocate the funds to the region to the neighbours, and so it's pretty. That's how it is. The Riverina and the Murray have a separate allocation, and the quantum of funds just either gets divided up between 9 councils, say, or 8 councils. But if one council is not successful the way they did do it, the other councils picked up that cash, and so it was what it was. There's a couple other councils in the area that missed out, and it's the nature of competitive grants. You don't get everyone you apply for. Like I said, they've actually, the current grant the stakes have actually been going a little bit higher because the grant that I've got to put in for by the end of the week is actually now for 4 years of fun. Well, this one was just 1 year at stake. Now it's 4 years at stake, and so it makes the stakes 4 times as high.
Sorry, one more little question, if I may, please, Mr. Chair. Is there any feedback on the slow down signs that we've got up at Morven and Gerodgery now? Is that in this one or the next one? We've got new signs up.
They work.
They work?
Yeah, there's no, like, obviously they're up at the moment, but we're collecting data, but we haven't summarised.
You haven't got any feedback from the communities or anything?
No, not yet.
No.
Yeah, well, it's only been up for a short time, so.
Yeah, I just thought if there was, they might have let you know straight away. Thank you.
Any more items for discussion?
Yeah, I've just got a question. Just tell me if I'm in the right spot or not. It's just regarding the operational plan quarterly budget, and that is page 312. This agenda is very, very difficult to navigate.
312 is in the section we're talking about, Councillor Linda.
It is very good. So I've asked this question regarding Parks and Gardens maintenance budgets in the past, and I've picked up as well in regard to toilet maintenance. Can we have each public toilet under the given town? So here there's an example. There's regarding the Holbrook public toilets, Submarine public toilets, and 10 Mile public toilets. They're all listed individually. Can we have them all under the one community? So that way we're actually comparing apples with apples when we're looking at what's spent per head per community, please.
Review, Deputy Mayor. I would have to take that on notice and check with the CFO to see how those headings are arranged in the spreadsheet. And how, so if we can, I'll speak to the CFO around the rearrangement, the headings under the towns. So you want Rockesby and then the relevant public toilets that are in that area.
So Otherwise, we can't compare apples with apples if we're looking at what council spends on public toilets in some communities, but then it's not the same for all communities across the board.
Then you would have to add in whether
That
that
would come
community
down
is
to
a
whether
tourist destination
on the
and
highway or.
Oh, absolutely.
travelling.
Yeah, but at least then we can compare apples with apples.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Linda. Is there any more discussion, or can we put this motion? All right, I'm going to put the motion. All in favour? All in favour, move carried. The next item is 10.3.3, and it is on page 371 of your agendas. And it's a policy adoption.
I'll move that recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Linda.
Second it.
Thank you, Councillor Shield. Is there any discussion on this matter? Yes, Councillor
Yes,
Morgan.
I have a couple of little typos in there. Page 377. Of that. 377 and 83. It's the same typo in both. Being in the disclosure section, referral to sexually abuses should say sexually abused. Also, in the illegal content, crim is without an E, and violence also. So it's just a couple of little bits, and I don't need to be nitpicky. I appreciate those that have put the policy together. Thank you.
Councillor Morgan, any further discussion on this one? Put the motion. All in favour? All in favour, carried. Move on to engineering now. Item 10.4.1, which is on 394. A second to flick through your pages.
I'll move
Recommendation.
that recommendation.
Councillor Hicks.
I'll second that.
Yep. Councillor Linda. Any discussion on this matter? Councillor
Thank
Morgan.
you. Page 395. The expected completion date is down in this discussion paper as March 2025. Should it not be 2026?
Correct.
Thank you.
Councillor Morgan, if there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Favour, carried. 10.4.2, which is another tender for Calkin CBD asphalt on page 396.
So moved, Mr Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Quinn. Thank you, Councillor Hicks. Any discussion on this?
Good price for tenders.
I'll put the motion. All in favour? All in favour, carried. 10.4.3, Colcan pedestrian bridge removal report, 398. Yes.
Well, I'll move the recommendation.
Can I just, before we move,
Okay.
I just like, if we have to.
Yes, certainly.
Deputy Mayor.
Yep.
Just to write councillors, following the presentation and update by the Inland Roads Council earlier this afternoon, there are now only three options, and the three options I'd like to put up is that item 1 still stands as it is. Option 1, should I say? Option 4 stands, but option 2 and 3 cannot happen due to possible contamination issues not being done. However, in lieu of 2 and 3, they have proposed another option, is that they Inland Rail are prepared to remove the top section of the bridge and leave it on rail land adjacent to where they're removing it, to give council an opportunity to consider at a future point, which obviously won't be a ridiculous amount of time, but also within the next few months, to make a final decision on it if that is what's needed. So the three options are: we ask them to take it away, decontaminate it, bring it back, put it on our site, unknown Oscar 1000 for saying. We ask Inland Rail to totally remove it, and they just take the structure and go, leaving us with nothing. or they can leave it on, move it, lift it on the rail car and leave it there for a future decision that doesn't have to be made tonight, but would have to be made within the next 2 to 3 months. But there obviously will be costs associated in the double handling of that, which obviously would have some. I'd just like to make, they're the 3 recommendations rather than the 4 that are there. That's all I can do. Just want to make that aware to the council.
Well, I'll move. I'll move the motion
So we can,
so we can deal with it.
Councillor Shilk to move the motion. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Hicks. Discussion.
So you, can I move that we suspend standing orders for this discussion?
Yep, do we have a seconder for
I'll
that?
second it.
All in favour? Carried. Thank you, councillor.
Oh, we want me to start?
Well, please do.
Okay, all right, we might as well kick it off. So look, obviously the costs involved in this have blown out and somewhat unexpected, which is a concern, I think, to every councillor here really, and also ratepayers. Now, you've given us 3 options. I don't know if any of those 3 options are any good. The question I have is, are we able to go back to the community and ask them if they would be happy with a smaller section of the bridge? Reason being that we don't know, estimated $80,000 to decontaminate it. That's if it's taken somewhere. You could have $20,000 worth of transport to get it to there. So I guess what I'm saying is that we need to look at this and you know, history is important, and Culcairn being the railway town, absolutely there has to be some part of the bridge here, but I think we also owe it to every other ratepayer in the Shire that we're actually sensible about it, and we come up with an option that is going to be more budget friendly and hopefully something that we can actually control the costs of a bit better. But because at the moment I don't think we're in control of any of the costs. We've got some estimates, but when push comes to shove, once whomever's got it to remove the lead-based paint, well, once they start the job, they'll come back and say, oh, look, it's, you know, there's about 50 years of paint coats on that. It's taken twice as long to get it off. So all of a sudden, that 80 could have blown into 160. So I think we need to be very sensible in how we approach this going forward. Yes, part of that needs to be here, but does the whole part, the whole 24.
Can I, then just an option to think about, if they leave the top section off the bridge, an option to them is we can ask them what would be the cost to do the whole lot or the cost to do part of it, and have that information come back to council, so council will have that information to deal with.
I think so, but in that, I think we also need to get some costings on transport, all that sort of stuff as well, because whilst, yes, this is, you know, to go and do it at their premises, is it going to be work economical to have them come to here to do it? You know what I mean? So it's obviously we need to go into this with our eyes wide open, because at the moment I don't think we really know exactly what we're going to sign a cheque for.
And it's through to you, Mr. Blackie. They're obviously Inland Rail or ARTC, whoever it is, they're actually responsible for providing these quotes.
No, we've actually signed an agreement. We'll accept it at our cost. So the issue will be, and clearly they've given us this third option, move the structure so it gets it off the track. Is probably from that point on, we can then ask them how much it would cost either for the whole structure to be then taken away and done and brought back, or just take a small section away and done. Back, and that will be all inclusive of transport things.
Yeah, well, I think that's what we need.
We've got an option there to do it with some more time, which was until tonight, and they advised themselves wasn't an option until tonight. They provide, so they can leave the whole section there, and we can make a decision once more detailed information is provided. Be it the whole thing or be it a third of the thing, we can have those 3 options that's still available to us.
And while you're at it, you've also get a quote on building a replica.
Yeah, can I just say that looking at the cost here, that we've got $37,000 left in the budget. Is there any chance that we could use some of the voluntary, the solar money? for the community. If the community wants it, it's a coal can community, there's a coal can solar farm, which is adjacent. I don't know how much money is in that, but if it's for the community, the place in their community, should we not consider using community funds rather than ratepayers' money for that?
Obviously, that could be the case. It's clearly, like I said,
The difference would be $43,000, in which case we can get it sent away, fixed, brought back, and the job's done and finished. We're not following up and following up and following up.
the clear thing is without, no one knows the exact information of what it will cost to do part bits of the whole lot. And that's why we were given only 2 weeks' notice on this, and which is unfortunate. But now I think having them leave it within the rail corridor so it doesn't impact anyone else, we've got some time to get further information so we can make a fully justified solution, be it how it gets funded, if it gets funded, if it not gets funded, I don't know.
But we're going to bear the cost. We're going to bear the cost of once. So Inland Rail are going to park it in their corridor.
Correct.
And then council will bear the cost of removing it from there.
No. My understanding, what they are doing in this shutdown, they are simply removing the top part of the bridge off.
So they'll come back before
They have to come back,
remove the rest of it at a later date, which then
So
they could
we-
then cart that away.
yes, and that would be done at a future time. So my understanding, to the best, and like I said, this was only notified tonight, so I'd like to have confirmation, but that is my understanding, that if we wanted to get rid of it wholesale, it would be at no cost to us.
And
Once we
if
start doing it-
it goes in that rail corridor, it would give us the opportunity for the coal can community to tell us whether they want it or not, number
Correct.
one,
Or if they're happy.
whether they want all of it or not,
Or a rectification.
and what sort of job they want done on it. And then that way they've got in for it. But as far as, like Councillor Hicks says, the whole of the ratepayers paying for one job when we could make use of funding that's available from outside.
That, I think what we were advised tonight was something we weren't aware of, that they will do that. And that's probably a preferred option from my point of view, because you like to deal with facts. We don't have all facts.
That's what concerns me.
It is an option now where before that, they sort of given us no option. We had to make a decision.
You had to take it and run.
Well, we had to make it. So anyway, I think there is an option. So
Once it's on their land, it's theirs. If we haven't signed anything for, they've still got possession of it. In my mind, from what that's worth.
Well, that's probably quite true.
It's
So-
on their land. We haven't signed anything taking possession of it. And so essentially it's still theirs for the time being, in my assessment.
Right, so what
That's worth. But I would say, it's on their land at the moment, it's theirs. If it stays on their land, maybe it's theirs unless they've signed something to the contrary.
So what we probably should do then is just go with that option of leaving it there and then add in point 2 of further quotations and community consultation in a timely manner.
well, in regard to it, they were comfortable in getting the quotations and dealing with that, because they're still going to move it, shift it around. So they were going that we need to talk to the community.
Yeah.
Once we get that information back and know how much is, like I said, they would allow a point to truck it away. So they're saying that there'd be a portion of costs that we pay, not the whole lot, but this is an opportunity to get more information. I think it's something that I wasn't aware of until, like I said, tonight when they actually did their presentation.
Because the other concern with that is too that the truck, I'm not certain about the dimensions, but I'm expecting it's probably an oversized load. So you've got more costs involved with transport
Yeah.
for that as well.
You've got to understand there's a fair bit of oversized stuff they're doing. So anyway,
Yeah, and
I
I
think we
think from a council point of view, if we end up with it somewhere and we have to move it, well then
So if we
Get
add
it
some
done
more
right.
points, do we need to go back to?
We do, but before we go back, I just appreciate, Mr. Blackie, that you've been put in a tough situation here with no notice, and appreciate you presenting these further options tonight. And it is unfortunate that we've got to make a determination without the information, because I totally agree with you, Councillor Hicks, that it is very wishy-washy and we need to firm up some facts. Councillor Quinn.
My point of view, acting chairman, is I'd scrap a lot, will face a bit of flack. But Colcan have got very big projects in mind. They talk all the time about all sorts of things. The money pot will run out. And this might be a flare for a few people. and it's gone. So there'll be a bit of flack if we decide, but a few years ago, that was a recommendation to scrap it all.
12 years ago.
Yeah, well, I suppose if we use Mr. Blackie's option for Inland Rail to set it aside on their land and give us time to consult community and just see if people want to scrap it, community. It's no cost to us if they take it away then and put that money elsewhere.
So
Let the community have more input.
Yeah, it's been legally done quickly though. We
Yes,
don't muck about with
we'll
it.
just contact the CDC and they
The
can
trouble is the
circulate.
community, through you, the community don't see any option to spend 100,000 scrape paid off it.
That's right. And we'll test that to see if they're willing to use VPA money for it or not.
Yes.
How passionate they are about the project.
I'd agree.
So I'll move and go back into standing orders.
Councillor Hicks, seconder for that. Councillor Liston, all in favour of return? All in favour, carried.
I move that motion.
You did.
Yeah. Do we need an amendment to it?
Well, I think
Can we add more points?
Well, do you want to add 2 more points? You can just clean it up and change it completely with 1 point. It's leave it on the council. I'll leave it on the ARTC land. And then more community consultation.
We need some guidance with that. We need to. Yeah, can you help us?
Could you assist with some wording for the amendment to the motion,
Oh.
please?
I mean, I've moved.
I
No,
don't think so.
okay.
But I'm happy to do the amendment.
Yes.
So councillor Hicks is putting forward the amendment.
Yep.
Which will be, I might hand over to you, Mr.
Yeah.
Baker.
Yes, so your turn.
Following advice received from Inland Rail.
I beg your pardon, sorry.
Following advice received from Inland Rail today. Advising that Inland Rail during the shutdown proposed the 6th and 7th of December are prepared to, sorry, shutdown. Proposed the 6th and 7th of December. We'll be removing the top deck of the bridge only. That can be left on the rail corridor while council makes the decision.
Following further community consultation.
Well, yeah, you want to make 1 or 2 points out of that, Mr. Blake.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to
Preamble.
preamble. Council.
Might make that as a point. Will we?
Let them get the words out.
Sorry.
Councillor Shield. Tough when you have an amendment. You're not quite.
Council request Inland Rail
Just deal with it here and then go and close it.
to leave the bridge deck within the rail corridor until further information is provided on decontamination of the bridge. On decontamination, should I say, just like that, including all costs involved. So that council can make a recommendation on its final.
Resting.
What was you going to say that? Final use. Final
Location.
Positioning or something, final
Location.
location.
Yeah, council. What is?
Final learner.
I go decision. Final.
Future use.
Future use. That's it.
I like that.
Future use. That's it. There you go.
Or part thereof.
Probably need to get rid of the word font there, Lisa, just so it's on its future use.
or part thereof.
Thank you, Mr. Blackie, for your assistance there. So we have Councillor Hicks is moving this amendment. Do we have a seconder for the amendment, please? Councillor Morton, thank you. I'm going to put the amendment. All in favour? So we're all in favour except for Councillor Quinn is against. All against? So the amendment is carried. Now we vote on the original motion.
Well, that becomes
That becomes a and now we
vote on that.
Then we put that. Thank you, Councillor Hicks. All in favour on the motion. So all in favour with the exception of Councillor Quinn. Thank you. We got there. The next item is 10.4.4 low cost loans initiative infrastructure funding grant application. That's on page 421 of your agenda.
I'll move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Neil. Thank you, Councillor Hicks. Is there any discussion on that one? Councillor Morton?
Deputy Mayor, on page 421 is the recommendation, sorry. On page 17 of the initiative, on page 17 of the initiative, it talks about 50% reimbursement of interest over time. I'm wondering about, is it an annual reimbursement or is it a reimbursement of the whole amount of interest procured over that time? Is it like a...
What, I'm happy to answer.
Can I ask?
This is through, Deputy Mayor. The case is, this is the same as what we've done for the Kinbarra estate. It's a discounted interest rate that we get. So we get a discount off that rate.
Yep.
Won't be as good as what we got last time because the rates increased, but it's a discount off the rate. So we pay a lower rate.
Per annum. So on an ongoing basis.
I wouldn't go until we pay it off. It's just a discounted interest rate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, to the engineer or perhaps to the other director, is this billed to the sewage scheme or general rates?
This is built to the sewer scheme. Yep.
Any further discussion on this matter? I'll put the motion. All in favour? All in favour carried.
Councillor Neil?
Yep.
And I think I second.
That's correct. Get this sorted, then we'll move to our next one. Our next item is 10.4.5, licence part lot 5 in Holbrook.
Yeah, I'll move that recommendation.
Page 448 for your reference. Thank you, Councillor Hicks. Thank you, Councillor Linda. Any discussion on this one? No discussion. I put the motion. All in favour? All in favour carried. We move to item 10.5, which are two items to be referred to closed council. Which
I'll move.
you're going to close council now.
Oh, that those items be.
He moved at the
The end of the meeting.
To close council.
Yep. Thank you, Councillor Shield. Do we have a seconder for that? Neil, thank you. All in favour? All in favour carried. So we'll come back to those. Up to officer report for part B.
Look, I'll move that we accept part B, C and D.
Thank you, Councillor Hicks. Yep. Do we have a seconder for that one? Thank you, Councillor Twin. Is there any discussion on those reports?
Yeah, I do. On page 482, when I can find it.
Oh, sorry. We're all awake now.
And wastewater treatment systems.
Yep. 482. It says that's completed in the second half of 2025. So I'm just wondering how that's proceeding. And does this include, like as in this, and just regarding the investigations from this particular thing. Does that include removing or looking into removing the effluent ponds from the centre of the growth corridor in relation to the new settlement strategy for Burrumbaddock?
Yeah, happy to do that. Through your Deputy Mayor. Much of that, it's the IWCM process, which has been going on for so many years. We're trying to wrap that up. It's looking at all towns and villages and possibilities on a very wide scale, not individually down to the detail, but it does look at all options. Yeah.
Any other further items for discussion on those reports?
Please.
Yes, Councillor Shield.
I have a lot of questions tonight. On page 70 of that delivery 17 of that delivery program, or 475 of 83.
475.
Yellow orange dot about Jacob Winky Drive. Consider options for there because of further developments. I think that came up somewhere else as well. What does it mean, or what will it look like if we hold for stage 3? Council will reconsider their options in regards to stage 3 as other subdivisions have commenced in Walla Walla. Does that mean we may not go ahead with stage 3, or are we going to left with a white elephant, or are we going ahead but not just at the minute? What does it look like?
Well, they call the remaining land the Globo lot, and there's lots of times that there was a leaving the Globo lot for a long period of time. So it'll just be vacant land at the end of stage 2. Council has to, I think council has to consider, because we've been doing our land development in cash primarily, we have to consider where our priorities are for the next land development to occur. And I don't know, I'm not prepared to say this is exactly what council should do. I think it's something we should do. But, you know, if there is land in my mind, if there is land available for somebody to purchase in Walla Walla or Colcan or Henty, does council want to put a development up against that land? Or is our money better spent putting it into a town where there is no land available? That's the question for council. So I think that's something that we probably need to bring to a workshop really and work through.
Just so, you know, we've worked hard to get this far, and then it looks like we may abandon it.
Well,
so do we just leave it then? Yeah, anyway, it needs to be workshopped.
Yes. You can certainly come back and do it at another time. It's just the timing of working with that. And one thing over the last few decades, we've not lost any money when we've left it alone and then come back to it because land prices can go up. So it's been a detriment to do it.
Thank you. It just popped out at me.
Sorry, through you.
Yes, Councillor O'Neill.
On page 467, with the DIAP, the program of accessibility improvement to community buildings across the Shire, it seems to have been in the pipeline for years, the disability inclusion stuff, and we don't seem to have had reports on what's actually happened in the meantime.
Through you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor O'Neill, in relation to the DIAP, it's a 4-year plan, and it was done a number of years ago because we're at the renewal stage. We have been reporting on it annually to the government departments and what we've been achieving. And so in relation to the things that we have, like, it was a pretty ambitious plan from the beginning, but the things that we have done quite well is that we've done lots of accessibility paths, walkways, footpaths, entrances. We've refurbished most of our council customer relations centres.
So I'm just wondering whether we could have a little report listing all the wonderful things that have happened, just so that we can tell people that hearing whether we're doing anything honest that we have.
Quite big, sorry. Sorry, that's the wrong way to do it. I think it's fairly visible in a lot of the towns because we did up like the supermarket upgrade and the shop fronts, you know, where the ramps are now. All of that has come out of that disability inclusion action plan. You know, there's a lot of things around that we have done.
But people need to be made, aware because they see things that they don't think. But
Maybe we can just
Councils need to share that information.
about reporting to the public, put stuff on social media saying, look how inclusive we are, let people know that.
And swing it, Ginger. I mean, there's one at
We'll
home.
probably do that through. Yeah,
Let them know.
Yes, there's lots of things because the disability inclusion action plan's probably got 50 or 60 items in it. So if you want a formal report on where
we'll just blow out trouble.
or we can, the LRCIP, the one that we've just round for, we had a substantial number of projects that were around accessibility. So
Put all those ripple strips and lots of things.
so it's up to you. You advise what you'd like, and we.
well, no, it's just, you've only then see you put it as 50%. Well, then surely it'd be.
It was a big plan. Like we didn't achieve every single of the 50 odd items that were listed in there. So that's why I was trying to be kind of,
Realistic
around. Yes, we have done one of the parks. We did 10 parks, but it only satisfies one requirement of the plan, if that makes sense. So it's a tricky one.
It's
So
not
if you tell me what you want, I'm more than happy to go away and produce it. So we've got the information. The annual report does refer back to the diet. Yep, but it's only a short snippet. But if you want tangible items that we've done in the 24-25,
I think it's good to see the tangible things.
And what format would you like that, Councillor O'Neill?
A list. Don't ask me how to format.
list.
Or a template or anything.
Another.
So perhaps a suggestion, Councillor O'Neill, is that it is incorporated in future annual reports.
Yeah.
How we're addressing our disability, and perhaps as a social media post that goes out every 6 months or something like that. Is that what you're suggesting? Just to promote awareness of what we're doing. Is that what you're sort of looking for there?
I'm suggesting that, yes, thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Councillor O'Neill.
So it's a suggestion, not a request.
It's a suggestion. I'll make it a request. There you go. Work that down.
Any other further items of discussion? I'll move that those 3 reports. Okay, so we've got the mover and seconder, so I'll put that motion. All in favour? All in favour, carried. Thank you. So now we need someone to move that we're going to go into closed council, please.
I'll move that.
Councillor O'Neill. For the seconder, Councillor Liston. All in favour of going to closed council? Favour, carried.
Well, let's move this go.
Send over to you, Mr. Kane.
Okay. In accordance with code of meeting practice, the following resolutions were made by council in the committee of the whole. In relation to 14.2.1 code of conduct investigation report, that council formally censure Councillor Hicks the breaches of clause 3.1G and 3.17 of the code in respect of the solicitation allegation at an independent local business, and B, the breach of clause 3.1A of the code in respect of the supporting role he played in the inappropriate comments. 1, formally censure Councillor Quinn for the breaches of clause 3.1G and 3.7 of the code in respect of the solicitation allegation at the independent local business, the breach of clause 3.1A of the code in respect of the inappropriate comment made about a previous council employee at an independent local business, and the breach of clauses 3.1G and 3.7 of the code in respect of harassing an independent business owner and its employees and making the inappropriate comment about a previous council employee. It is recommended that Councillor Hicks and Councillor Quinn be provided with professional development and training regarding appropriate and respectful communications. In relation to matter 14.22, purchase of a property in Holbrook to support the relocation of the doctor to Holbrook, the following resolution was adopted by council. That council purchased the property identified in council's confidential report, subject to the purchase price being not more than 10% above a valuation of the property obtained by a registered valuer, or alternatively not more than 10% of the average of 2 independent market appraisals from real estate agents familiar with the Holbrook market. Satisfaction of the preconditions of the purchase set out in the confidential council report, and a condition of the contract included a 90-day due diligence period with a right for council to rescind at its discretion if the preconditions identified in the confidential council report have not been satisfied. 2, authorise the acting general manager or his delegate to undertake negotiations with the vendor or its agents delegates for their acquisition subject to the conditions in this council report. 3, authorise its seal to be affixed to any contract to purchase the property pursuant to Regulation 400 of the Local Government General Regulations 2021, subject to the parties reaching agreement on the terms of the contract. If an acquisition to purchase the property is completed, the property identified in the council report is to be classified as operational land in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 6, Part 2 of the Local Government Act 1993.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Last item on our agenda is any matters of Clifton.
Yeah, we've got an emergency about the rate.
I had a matter of emergency.
Let's see what I put it there.
You have to, you just have to move that the recommendations from the council be adopted.
Sorry. So do we have a mover for that, please? Yep. So Councillor Liston, seconded Councillor Morton. All in favour? All in favour, except for Councillor Hicks. Again. Thank you. And last item on the agenda is any matters of urgency.
Matter of urgency with regards to renewable energy projects over 2.5 megawatt hours.
Might just wait a second, please, Councillor Morton, for
I
the.
wrote it down, but I've lost the piece of paper there. Be great. And then
250, what else?
200, yeah, over, sorry, I've found it now. The council acknowledged that renewable energy projects with a capacity over 250 megawatt hours are considered large scale and therefore a commercial enterprise. Part 2 of that is that a report be brought to council to assess the process going forward of alteration of council rating for large scale renewable projects from agricultural land to commercial.
We have a copy of that, please,
Yeah,
Councillor
sure.
Moore, just for the
I'll
minute.
just circle that. 2.
Yeah. So just, so you're raising the matter of urgency. Do we have a seconder for that? It's a matter of urgency. Councillor O'Neill. All in favour? All in favour? Moved. Councillor Shield, did you have? No, did you have a matter of urgency regarding the cat?
Oh, the cat.
What do you want to?
Oh, no, that can go to another time. I think we've been here long enough.
Yeah.
No, I haven't got a proper request for that, but I'm, yeah. I haven't got a formal motion already done.
Just been long discussions.
Yeah. Okay, so the matter of urgency has been passed, so I'll invite any discussion on that. If not, I'm going to put it to the vote.
I guess, Mr Deputy, it's more about investigations, just so that we ensure that Councillor Morton's information is 100% correct first before we proceed.
Got to bring the report back anyway.
Yeah, I've asked for a report.
So with that report, check on the ability to do it or not do it.
So if there's no further discussion, I'll put this for the vote. All in favour? All in favour. It's moved and carried. And with that, we declare the meeting closed. Thank you for your time, everyone.